day and night for half a month. Ein couldn't believe his eyes when he somehow managed to meet Ursula's requirement and shot 1,000 fireballs. Yuri praised Ein for doing well. Ursula, standing beside, still maintained her attitude as she watched Ein cry in happiness. With a tremendous amount of mana and a limitless magic he copied from Ursula, Ein could now easily use various techniques and super praise. Ursula felt it was time to focus on the upcoming revenge battle. Two individuals are currently standing before the death bear that once nearly cost Ein his life. Ursula asks him what he's worried about, acknowledging that although he's still weak, he has grown much stronger than before. Reluctantly, she admits that Ein is a quick learner. With the results of his training, she's confident that he will be able to defeat the bear. Ein silently resolves that it's time for revenge. Ursula watches Ein launch a fireball and questions whether he truly hasn't mastered magic control yet. Ein knows he's not a wizard, so his directional skills are poor, and his magic is weak. But if one strike isn't enough, he'll attack repeatedly until the bear is downed. Surprisingly, using the fireball 100 times consecutively proves effective, injuring the bear significantly. Ein is amazed, was it always this weak, or has he become stronger? Once the death bear is defeated, Ursula orders him to quickly copy the bear's technique. She casually remarks that she hopes he gains enough confidence to conquer this dungeon. Ein's next task is to defeat every monster on his path and copy them. The battle with the death bear marks the moment Ein can return to the surface. Before leaving, Yuri gifts Ein with the core of the Yggdrasil tree. Ein declines, grateful for the eye he has received. Ursula insists it's only a loan. If Ein dies, the core will automatically return to the tree. She implants the core inside Ein, gradually evolving his artificial eye. Soon, the powers of the Holy Cross Soul Eye will begin to manifest in him. Yuri, now invisible to Ein, speaks to him. Ursula explains that Yuri's soul core has been transferred into his artificial eye. In essence, his eye is now akin to the Yggdrasil tree, with Yuri residing within it. Yuri assures Ein that she will heal him and that he can use as many Yggdrasil drops as he wishes, promising to protect him. Ursula is furious, unable to believe she must entrust her daughter to a mere human. Yuri has always been with her since birth, always isolated because she couldn't make friends with anyone. All humans who come here are trash, always breaking branches off Yuri once they learn she is Yggdrasil. But Ursula feels differently about Ein compared to other humans who have come before. Deep down, she thinks it will be alright to entrust her daughter to him. She tells Ein that he may be a fool, but he has the soul of a good person. With his eye, she wants her daughter to see the vast world out there. Ursula generously bestows upon him infinite magic storage and a sword made from the Yggdrasil tree, provided by her daughter. She reminds Ein that it's time for him to leave. Ein first tells Yuri to quickly go inside his eye, as it's dangerous outside. Thanks to the Philosopher's Stone, he can communicate with Ursula from a distance. However, Ein is still not used to having a voice in his head. Ursula has already mapped out a route for him to the exit. All Ein needs to do is follow the arrows to avoid getting lost. She warns him that in about 5 minutes, he will encounter a giant snake, a huge serpent immune to effects. Seeing Ein's fearful reaction displeases her. Since she can't punish him directly, Ursula creates annoying clinking sounds in his head to torment him. Ein is not angry, realizing it's better to have Ursula's guidance to use the eye safely. She scolds him to stop pondering and prepare for battle. She has already copied the route to attack monsters with magic for him, all he needs to do is fight. Ein marvels at how useful the eyes are, allowing him to know information before meeting an opponent and strike first. Ursula reminds him that he should be grateful to Yuri for life. The giant serpent is now approaching, its immense size slightly panicking Ein. But with Ursula's help, things become easier. Ein whispers how incredible it feels to see an S-ranked beast flee in fear. Somehow, defeating an S-ranked monster has become too easy. Ursula allows Ein some time to be proud, helping him copy the serpent's technique. She informs him that he will acquire immunity and acid use techniques. Only after Ursula's announcement does Ein remember to stop the action. He's still not ready to endure pain. Strangely, at this moment, Ein doesn't experience the pain like before. Yuri tells him she has healed him. Ein is relieved, knowing that from now on, he won't have to endure pain when copying techniques. The two continue their journey until they encounter a large door that forces them to stop. Ein looks at the door and asks Ursula if he really must go through it. A voice in his head starts, saying if he can't get through here, he shouldn't dream of reaching the surface. Ursula informs him that every dungeon has a boss, and the dungeon itself is a living entity. It lures humans in, and its heart is the core of the dungeon. However, this heart is vulnerable, so it needs a guardian for protection. Thus, the boss is essentially the dungeon's guardian. Ein believes, with Yuri and Ursula's help, he has become strong enough to defeat S-ranked beasts. But they are nothing compared to this dungeon's boss. Understanding Ein's concerns, Yuri reassures him that everything will be okay. At this moment, Ein realizes he is no longer a mere scavenger, he must win. Ursula reveals that the boss is a giant S-ranked golem. Though it's slow, Ein must be wary of its continuous powerful attacks. She advises that, due to the significant size difference, it's better for Yuri to stay inside Ein's eye. Ursula continues to warn that in 2 seconds, an attack will be directed straight at him. Ein is surprised that just by moving, the creature can cause an earthquake. He braces himself to endure the attack, but it's overwhelmingly powerful, like a meteor. Fortunately, Yuri tells him not to worry as she can heal him. Ein thanks Yuri and reflects that the old him would have been terrified and collapsed, but now he is different. Filled with confidence, Ein believes he can defeat it. Ein struggles with the creature for a long time without resolving it, almost getting hit back. He mutters that this beast is ridiculous. This is the true power of a boss monster, he knows it won't be easy to defeat. Ursula, observing the situation, decides to allow Ein to use the ultimate magic she taught him. Ein wonders if he can really use it. Ursula had once said that the ultimate magic was too powerful to be used in a dungeon, as it could bury them alive. But she clarifies now that she meant smaller dungeons, this vast space wouldn't pose a problem. She adds that with his current mana, Ein could only unleash one strike of ultimate magic. But even if he is defeated, Yuri can revive him. With one powerful blow, Ein completely melts the stone giant. He's in disbelief at what he has just accomplished, staring at the chaotic remnants. Yuri, excited, rushes over and exclaims that he managed to defeat a massive monster. Ein knows that this would have been impossible alone and thanks Yuri, patting her head. Ursula, impatient, asks Ein when he plans to copy the skills. In this copying process, Ein acquires numerous defensive skills, which had always been his weakness but are now restored. Ursula informs him that there's still one thing left to copy, the dungeon's flaw. Ein turns to see Ursula beside him and is surprised, asking why she's here and not protecting the Yggdrasil tree. She explains that the thing inside his eye has already absorbed 100% of the Yggdrasil's soul core. In other words, Ein's eye is now just like the Yggdrasil tree, so it's sufficient for her to be beside him. Ursula is interested in the dungeon's core, which is similar to a soul core. Ein's eye could be strengthened with the dungeon core. Ein asks her to do it for him, and she instructs him to close his eyes while she works. Ursula mentions that if Ein defeats many monsters and acquires more dungeon cores, he will become stronger. The final boss is defeated, and Ein's growing strength is undeniable. All he needs to do now is return to the surface. Ein curiously looks at the door ahead and asks Ursula if it will automatically close once they leave. He tries to push the door, but no matter how hard he tries, it won't budge. Ursula speculates that when the dungeon's core disappears, this room and the path to the Yggdrasil tree might vanish too. Ursula rarely shows satisfaction, but she smiles contentedly now. This means that no one will be able to approach the Yggdrasil tree ever again. From now on, Yuri can live a peaceful life and witness the world. Ein understands this and smiles with Ursula, thinking how wonderful that is. Suddenly, he remembers something important and yells out. Ursula, irritated, asks why he's raising his voice now. Ein loudly reminds her about the hole he fell through, wondering if it's still there. To their surprise, they find that the hole has also been sealed. Ursula calmly states that all paths have been sealed, including that one. Ein feels relieved and lighter about returning to the surface, excitedly urging them to hurry as freedom is just moments away. Ein laughs heartily upon seeing the exit right in front of him, where the blue sky, white clouds, and golden sun are visible. Once the excitement settles, Ein sits down on the grass and wonders what to do next, as he plans to give up being an adventurer. Ursula is curious about why he's abandoning his profession. Ein shows the monsters he defeated along the way from his storage space, telling them to look. He means there's no longer a reason for him to be an adventurer. Ursula hadn't realized that while finding their way to the surface, Ein had collected all the monsters he defeated. For Ein, this was obvious since they were all items dropped by S-ranked monsters. He believes if he sells these, he can live the rest of his life carefree. However, Ein knows he can't sell everything at once. If the people who knew him as a scavenger saw this, they would suspect theft and he could get caught. Selling them quietly seems to be the best approach. Ein tells them not to worry about it, as this is why he no longer needs to be an adventurer. Ein happily suggests to Yuri that they should travel the world, so she can see its vastness. He's been pondering what he truly wants to do during all this time. Ein asks Yuri, as they travel the world together, what she would like to do. Yuri repeats his question, wondering what she wants to do, to find her answer. Ein loudly declares that Yuri is his benefactor. For example, if she wants to eat something delicious or see the sea, he agrees to it. Ein wants to stay with Yuri and help her fulfill her dreams. After some thought, Yuri expresses her wish to meet her family again. Ein is confused, thinking she already has Ursula, but Yuri clarifies she wants to reunite with her sisters. Ursula explains to Ein that originally Yggdrasil was a single large tree, but later it split into 9 parts, each part residing in its own dungeon. Ein realizes that Yuri once lived with her family. He loudly declares their next decision, to travel the world and find Yuri's family. Yuri asks him if he's sure about this, worrying if it will trouble him. Ein laughs heartily, saying it's not a bother at all and he too wants to meet Yuri's family. Moreover, he is intrigued by the different enemies he might encounter in the dungeons. Ein's journey continues with a new purpose, to help his benefactor. But first, he needs to meet Zoid and expose his deceit. At a tavern in a village, Zoid is sorrowfully recounting the events that happened to Ein. A listener expresses a desire to explore the same place. Zoid feigns concern and warns him of the danger. The man laughs, pointing out that Zoid managed to escape and is sitting here. Zoid, feigning distress, says it was all because Ein told him to leave and stayed behind. The man is surprised that a scavenger like Ein could say such a thing. Zoid shouts at him not to refer to Ein that way. He covers his face, pretending to hold back tears, claiming Ein bravely sacrificed himself to save Zoid and became a shield. In reality, Zoid is secretly smiling, believing only he and Jolene know the truth. He thinks a nobody like Ein should only serve as bait. Zoid continues to weep to everyone, apologizing for Ein's sacrifice. Suddenly, Ein appears next to Zoid, startling him so much that he spits out his drink. Zoid yells, asking why Ein is still alive and not dead as expected. Ein calmly replies that, as Zoid can see, he is not dead. He simply defeated the monsters and returned. Zoid angrily yells that Ein is lying, claiming that defeating so many monsters is impossible for a woman like him. The man standing next to Zoid pulls at his sleeve, asking why he isn't happy that his benefactor has returned. Ein looks around at everyone and reveals the truth. He was paralyzed by the magic used by Zoid and Jolene and then left for the wolves. Zoid, worriedly looking around, begins to accuse Ein of slandering him. The man next to him becomes genuinely angry with Zoid, questioning how it's slander. He points out that Zoid himself said Ein sacrificed for his friends. He further asks why Ein would lie about the person he just saved. Another person joins in, condemning Zoid for leaving his teammate to die, calling him the real trash. Ein stops everyone, saying it's enough since he's alive. After leaving a confusing "thank you" for Zoid, Ein proudly leaves with Yuri and Ursula. The trio starts their first dungeon exploration on their world tour. Ursula reminds Ein that the S-ranked Immortal King is the boss of this dungeon. All magical and physical attacks are ineffective against it. She warns him to be careful, as even a light touch could cause an explosion due to the twin fire skill. Ein uses super sense on the ghost, followed by a light sword strike. When it counterattacks, Ein intentionally misses, not hitting the ghost. Ursula scolds him, reminding him that his opponent is a ghost and that magical attacks are useless. Ein, looking helplessly at her, understands these issues. His previous attack was just a diversion. Just as Ein said, when the ghost is off guard, he uses the death blow to defeat it. Ein laughs and tells Ursula that learning this special magic from her was a great choice. A notification board appears, displaying numerous skills possessed by the ghost. Ein's eyes light up, amazed at the ghost's many skills. After reviewing them all, Ein tells Ursula he needs to absorb the dungeon's core in the distance. Ursula tells him to kneel so she can assist. After absorbing the energy, Ein's soul eye is upgraded to level 3. The new skill allows Ein to understand everything, regardless of time and place. Ein is excited that he can now understand all kinds of written languages. Their ultimate goal was to find the Yggdrasil tree inside the dungeon, but it seems this isn't the right place. Ursula laughs, saying it was never going to be easy. Yggdrasil, supporting the magic of the whole world, would be a disaster if easily found. Ein is disheartened, but Yuri cheerfully encourages him not to be sad and to keep going. Ein realizes that Yuri, who should be more disappointed, is instead worrying about him first. He admires Yuri for being a kind and gentle girl. Ursula jokingly hits Ein on the head, insisting he should say Yuri is super kind and super cute. After leaving the dungeon, Ein plans to return to the guild for more information. The people at the center only promise to show them dungeon locations, but it's all lies. Ursula warns that information from the guild is often inaccurate. Ein thinks they need to go to the royal capital Niga for more information. But first, he apologizes to Yuri for delaying their reunion. Yuri gently says there's no need to worry, slow and steady is fine. She knows her request was selfish. Ursula gets angry on her daughter's behalf, asking Ein who he thinks he is to owe Yuri. She urges him to quickly find more valuable information. Ein is startled by Ursula's frightening expression and promises to wait just 3 seconds. Ursula shouts, questioning how he can check information in 3 seconds. Ein's shout is even louder than hers. While using appraisal, he sees a carriage nearby being attacked by monsters. Yuri, worried, urges them to hurry and help. On the way, Ursula informs Ein that the enemy is a beast tamer who can control magical beasts through contracts. There are over 20 kobolds and a dragon waiting above. After observing, Ursula casually mentions that these monsters won't be much of a challenge for him. She points out the dragon is high in the sky and won't see him, advising him to defeat it with electric magic. Ein follows Ursula's instructions and attacks the dragon in the sky. Soon after, Ursula informs Ein that it seems he has hit the dragon, and its body will soon fall. Now, Ein only needs to defeat the pack of kobolds and quickly rescue the attacked people. If he wants to be faster, Ein can use wide-area magic like the sword, but he doesn't want to accidentally hit the civilians. Ein feels the movements of the monsters slowing down. The S-ranked beasts he fought before moved slowly, but at least they moved. Ursula explains that kobolds are D-ranked monsters, so weak that they seem almost motionless to Ein. Ein can't believe these are the same rank as the hunting dogs that attacked him earlier. After defeating all the monsters, the beast tamer appears, angrily asking who Ein is. Ein, confused, replies that he's just an appraiser. The man doesn't believe him, saying it's impossible for such a lowly profession to be that powerful. He then smirks, saying it's a pity for Ein, as he still has another trump card. Ein asks what else he has besides that chaotic dragon. The man is shocked how Ein knew about the dragon, and right then, the dragon's body falls. He can't believe his B-ranked dragon was defeated by such a weakling. Ein laughs, saying if the man had negotiated earlier, he might have spared him. After cornering the man, Ursula calls Ein over. She tells him that although he doesn't have wings, he can learn to fly from the dragon. Ein can also learn the water resistance skill from the kobolds. Ein thanks her and starts copying those 2 skills. Later, Ein asks Yuri to help the injured people. Yuri tells him to leave it to her. While Yuri treats others, Ein talks to 2 other calm people nearby. Ein asks if they are okay. The girl runs over to hug Ein, proclaiming she has found her hero. She thanks Ein for saving her from danger. When she was in peril, Ein swiftly came like the wind to rescue them. Ein, feeling awkward, looks at the man standing next to her, asking if he's her brother. The man calmly replies that he's just the leader of an exploration group named Jasper, and the girl in front of them is Claudia. At Jasper's mansion, it was Ein's first time entering such a luxurious house, making him utterly unable to relax. Jasper and Claudia came out to apologize for making Ein wait for so long. Claudia thanked Ein profusely